Hello, this is Paradigm here. I would like to remind you that the story I am about to relate to you is true to the best of my recollections and within the ways in which I am able to express myself. So I just wanted to remind you that this is a true story. I won't be telling you anything that isn't true as far as my memory goes. And I did attempt to remember some of these things very well. And so what I do remember well is what I will share with you. And so it should be pretty accurate. Accurate for the most part. There might be a few minor discrepancies. So, like I said, the story really begins when I'm a child. So, I did my best to remember incidences that occurred as a young child only could, especially with trying to get through those times in that period of time in my life. So let's see, my parents divorced when I was 7, and then we moved around to different places. We moved to Laguna Beach. I think I already talked about that. And then we moved to Chicago, and by the time we were in Chicago, it was my mother and a couple of my sisters, and let's see here. We were there for a couple of years, and I attended the 4th and 5th grade there, and let's see here. I guess at that point, one of my sisters decided that she hated it there. When we lived in Chicago, we lived in what was considered the ghetto at that time, back in the 70s. And so she ended up moving, and then my mother and one of my other sisters, we moved to Santa Cruz, California. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you a little bit about Santa Cruz. We lived on the college campus, UCSC, and the locations are correct. In my story, I'm going to have to change a couple of names around, so I'm going to have to think of a couple of names for the characters in the story. I didn't want to disclose their real identity. But the location is real. We lived in Santa Cruz on the college campus in student apartments, and I won't say exactly where the apartment numbers or anything like that were involved either. But let's see, so it was really beautiful. It was, when I first began living there, I thought, well, this has to be one of the most beautiful places to live anywhere in the world. As a kid, I said that to my mom when we first moved there, and then I found out it was one of the top 10 most beautiful college campuses to live, or, temporarily reside. And there, I think there was like 3 to 5 year limit on as far as the time goes where someone was allowed to live there in student apartments anyway. So I lived there with my sister and my mother, and I just want to say that the details to this story are so colorful. And I will include them in my book, but unfortunately I don't know how much I'm going to share of that here on YouTube. So I'm basically just really going to be telling you very bare bones, just the skeleton of at least part one of my story here. And so let's see here. It's just, I keep thinking of how I want to tell you, and I could just come right out with it and tell you, but it's just there are reasons why I'm not doing that right now, so I'll just have to include those extra details in my book, like I said. Okay, so moving on, I think I'm just going to get right to the very nitty-gritty of part one of my story, and so it should be pretty short without telling you too many extra details, although those extra details really make the story. But it is all true, so at least I can share with you the most amazing part of part one of my story. And so I will do that with share that with you in my next video here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this one short because I don't know when I'm going to be cut off. So TTFN, ta-ta for now. Watch my next video.